Some of Diddy's male workers were confirmed to be from the show Gigolos. Ash Armand was just confirmed to be one of Diddy and Cassie's workers, and the story behind him is deep because he actually unalived somebody. Ash worked for a company called Cowboys for Angels, and this is where the show was created, Gigolos, that you would have seen on Showtime. Cassie Ventura confirmed that Ash was one of these workers, and he would meet them in a lot of different locations such as Las Vegas, Los Angeles, and more. And then in 2020, Ash would unalive a close friend of his named Herlene. He claimed that they were on mushrooms and he temporarily lost his mind, and this is why he unalived her. This part right here freaked me out because Cassie Ventura said this is one of the substances that Diddy would want to use for these freak-offs. Ash pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter and he was sentenced 8 to 20 years in prison for the unaliving of Herlene. He first claimed that she attacked him after they took psychedelic mushrooms together and that he blacked out. The night before this incident happened, Herlene went over to Ash's house and the pair had taken mushrooms, lit candles, prayed, and watched Avatar. The following morning at 10 a.m., Ash called 911 and said, "It's going to sound insane because it is insane. There was a struggle and I temporarily lost my mind." When the paramedics arrived, they found Ash attempting to do CPR and he was being coached by a 911 operator. He told the first responders that Herlene had experienced a heart attack, but the first responders did not find evidence of a heart attack. Instead, they saw that Herlene had clearly been beaten and there was blood splattered around the room. Ash then looked at the paramedics and told them, "When the police get here, I will surrender." When Herlene's autopsy came back, they found that there was extreme violence that caused her death, and it was determined as blunt force trauma with strangulation as a distributing factor. I've been watching this documentary, The Sin City Gigolos, A Murder in Las Vegas, and this is a documentary of Ash committing this crime. But I have chills now hearing that he said that he was on mushrooms, the same thing that Cassie Ventura confirmed, and he's saying that he lost his mind. The fact that we have an S worker who admitted that he temporarily lost his mind and unalived one of his friends, that could have easily been Cassie Ventura in the same situation because that is exactly what was happening with them. And this situation with Ash brought me back to thinking about Jonathan Oddie. Jonathan Oddie back in 2018 went crazy shooting up the Trump Hotel, and during the police interrogation interview is when he said that he had relations with Cassie and Diddy and he was a S worker. And this is just another one of these S workers that we saw go technically kind of crazy even though what they were saying was the truth. All of this is super deep and insane, but y'all let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
I'm going to have this content creator's TikTok page linked down below because she has been keeping up and piecing together information that a lot of people haven't been piecing together. We're going to react to a bit of it here, but to hear that this man was on a psychedelic like shrooms and to commit the crime that he did against this woman, and it was clear that he understood what he did was wrong and he tried to make it right, even though he lied about what actually happened to this girl. Like, I don't know what shrooms do to you. I've never tried shrooms before in my life. One thing that I've heard when it came to that specific psychedelic is that you have to be intentional with your thoughts. Tell me if I'm wrong, so that it can align with how you feel. Y'all school me. Prosecutors reveal images of ex-workers that took part in Diddy and Cassie's freak-off. So here are images. Obviously, we know of these two guys here, Jonathan Odell and Ash, who we just saw. You go two other guys down here. Then obviously got the picture of Cassie and Diddy right here. And on this next screen here is another image that the prosecutors presented, as well as this image here with these four other individuals. Clearly, Cassie and Diddy didn't discriminate. They liked all flavors. Diddy was tasting that semen off the nipples of every type of man. Oh man, I couldn't say it. I couldn't even get it out. I couldn't get it out. Can't show y'all the next slide, but the next slide shows some of the substances that Diddy would have these people take in these freak offs so that they can perform in these freak offs. I'm not gonna show y'all that because it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff on there. I don't know what none of it is, except for the powdery looking stuff. I think I might know what that is.
It's day 7 of the Diddy trial, and Diddy's former personal assistant, David James, testifies against Diddy. And this is part 2, and it's about to get crazy, so let's get into it. The government starts out by asking, what about physical violence between Mr. Combs and Cassie? Did you personally observe it? No, I did not. Do you remember a blog post? Yes, I was in LA when he came back from a club. What did Mr. Combs say? That someone was lying on him, saying that he hit Cassie at the club. He went through my browsing history. No one has ever done that to me. Did Mr. Combs give you instructions about Cassie? To bring her some food at the London hotel, some Roscoe's. What is Roscoe's? Some delicious fried chicken in Los Angeles. What did you do for Mr. Combs in New York? I'd bring him applesauce, Jell-O, Fiji water, his toiletry bag with ointments just for men. We brought 40 items just so he wouldn't call us later. I'd get a key like at the Trump International Hotel. I'd also set up the medicine bag in the personal Louis Vuitton bag. What was in it? Viagra, perks. How did you go about replenishing these supplies? I'd use my personal credit card and then Bad Boy paid me back. Who paid you back? Usually Roger Bonds. Did Mr. Combs ever stay alone in a hotel? Never. Usually Cassie, sometimes other women. Did he ask you for things during a stay? He'd text me for an iPod or food. Did anything strange ever happen? Yes, in Miami he asked for an iPod from his house on Star Island. I drove it to his hotel and knocked and no one answered. I had the key because I'd set the room up. What did you see? Cassie on the bed. There was another person who sort of scurried away and then the shower was on and I thought that Mr. Combs was in there. How was she sleeping? On her back? What about the other person? He was about 5'8" with long hair. He scurried away. Did you ask anything? I wasn't hired to ask about their personal affairs. Did you ever pick up substances for Mr. Combs? Yes, the perks at the pharmacy, sometimes in my name. Did you give him permission to use your name? I don't recall that. Was there a dealer? Yes, one stop. Did he meet with a lot of people? Yes, even former presidents. Which one? Former President Barack Obama. What was your understanding of what would happen if you hadn't have done these things? And then Diddy's team objected and the judge sustained. Did you ever take E? Yes, I was drinking Ciroc and I took E and I was Diddy bopping. What do you mean? I was just vibing. Did you speak with Mr. Combs about it?
I forgot that Diddy bopping can mean vibing. But I don't think he should have used that term in this case because obviously they questioned that. Diddy bopping. What you mean? You was bopping on Diddy?
He was reviewing footage of the party. We had a videographer who filmed the parties. He asked me, hey Playboy, was that you dancing around at the party? I said yes, and he said, I'm going to keep the video in case I ever need it. What do you mean? That I'd be embarrassed. Did anything ever go missing? They said a bracelet was missing. Uncle Paulie came to my hotel room and searched my belongings and those of my girlfriend at the time. Could you have said no? And Diddy's team objects and the judge says, move on. Do you ever have to take a lie detector test? Yes. Who was present? Just me and this gentleman. It was very intimidating. They put monitors on my head, my chest, and my hand. Could you have refused? Not to keep my job. Did this happen again? Yes, when Mr. Combs said a watch of his had been stolen. What was the result? The gentleman told me I seemed nervous. I said, I sure am. Once Capricorn Clark had to take a lie detector to prove that she wasn't a part of a heist of Mr. Combs' jewelry. Was there an incident at Mel's Diner with Suge Knight? Yes, I drove the Silver Navigator to get cheeseburgers there. D-Rock said, that's that mother effer Suge Knight. He went over and said, what's up? Suge didn't recognize him. D-Rock said, I'm Big's boy. What happened next? We noticed 4 black SUVs on different sides of the parking lot. I saw someone hand Suge Knight a weapon. D-Rock said, we gotta get out of here. We drove back to the house. What did you find there? Cassie was crying. Mr. Combs got in the vehicle and I saw 3 weapons on his lap. I felt calm because we had been in a silver vehicle and now we were in a black one. They wouldn't see us coming. What did you find at Mel's Diner? Suge Knight had left. Mr. Combs said drive around the block. What did you decide? to leave the company. They offered me other positions, but I just wanted to leave. My life was at risk. No further questions. And now we are getting into David James' cross-examination testimony. So y'all let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
It feels almost surreal to be at this point now where we're hearing all this stuff come out surrounding Diddy. It was like before there was so many speculations, but hell, majority of us believed all of it, right? But to see the stuff that's actually unfolding and to know that we still have weeks and weeks and weeks of this stuff to go, it's like, yay. We can only speculate how guilty Diddy is going to look and be at the end of all of this and how much time he's going to actually get. At this point, I'm curious to see if there's going to be any more lawsuits that's going to come out surrounding Diddy. Because right now, this is predominantly about Cassie's relationship with Diddy. Because some point outside of the X trafficking, I would think that there would be other information surrounding his alleged crimes that would have to come forward, right? Because what happened to Kim Porter and all the other people that he allegedly offed, Tupac, Biggie, like all this stuff, like, are we ever going to get that?
Diddy has just been hit with his worst case yet. Diddy has just been accused of paying police officers and prosecutors to lie on his behalf and get people arrested for false crimes. The Michigan inmate, Derek Lee Cardello Smith, who filed a lawsuit against Diddy, now submitted affidavits from prosecutors, police officers, and more saying that Diddy set him up and put him in prison. Derek Lee Cardello Smith filed a lawsuit against Diddy claiming that he was SA'd by Diddy all the way back in 1997. And in his lawsuit, he was trying to subpoena J-Lo and Kirk Burrows on his behalf, saying that they knew this allegedly happened to him. He was claiming that J-Lo was a material witness because of her relationship with Diddy from 1999 to 2001, because he is alleging that his essay was recorded, distributed, and held by Diddy at his New York residence. And he was alleging during J-Lo's relationship with Diddy, she was made privy to the video that was taken by Diddy and his employee Kirk Burrows of this essay, which is honestly wild now to bring back up because Kirk Burrows just filed his lawsuit against Diddy like 2 weeks ago, and some of these allegations are kind of similar. And if you think this is crazy, just wait because it gets a lot crazier. Yesterday, Derek Lee Cardello Smith just filed a new lawsuit with Diddy named in this lawsuit, but it's for habeas corpus. He is alleging that he was falsely imprisoned because of Diddy. He says that Sean Combs framed me, and this is my petition seeking release from custody. He said a Detroit police officer named Nicole Rabber has submitted an affidavit on March 5th of 2025 alleging her role, where she said that she had been working with Sean Combs and she was paid to frame him, and she admitted her role in the form of this affidavit attached. And this is the affidavit from the police officer. She says, "My name is Nicole Rabert and I am an officer who authorized the police report in the city of Detroit on January 13th of 2008 against Derek Lee Cardello Smith, a current prisoner in the Michigan Department of Corrections." And the crazy part is he also has an affidavit from the woman that the police officer is talking about too, saying that she lied and she was also allegedly paid by Diddy to lie. She said, "I was ordered to make a false police report against Mr. Cardello Smith by Sean John Combs, or P. Diddy, Kim Worthy, Wayne County prosecutor, Suzette Samuels, assistant Wayne County prosecutor, Jose Ortiz, a detective at Detroit Police Department. I was paid a total of $132,000 in cash by Sean John Combs to issue the false police report of the kidnapping and SA against Derek Lee Cardello Smith." She said the arrest warrant was paid by her and the others to the judge of the 36th District Court, and he was paid a total of $5,000 for signing the warrant. And she alleges that this judge worked for Diddy and she was connected to him and forced to pay him, and she paid him the money for these warrants that she knew were false at the time. And he adds an affidavit from the woman that these alleged false crimes happened to. "My name is Adria Barmarano, and I state the following is true, and I will attest attest to them in an open court of law, whether it be criminal or civil. I am the civil complainant in the case of the people of the state of Michigan versus Derek Lee Cardello Smith with the case number of that case. She said, I lied under oath in the 36th District Court in the Wayne County Circuit Court when I said that Derek Lee Cardello Smith kidnapped me and SA'd me. Purpose of my false testimony in January 2008 and June 2008 is because she was paid by Suzette Samuels, the assistant prosecutor for Wayne County, to lie, which this prosecutor also puts in an affidavit. She said, I was paid $10,000 to say that Cardello Smith kidnapped me and SA'd me, and I was given this money by the Wayne County prosecutor, David Cobb, and the sergeant of the Detroit Police Department. I worked directly for Sean Combs of Bad Boy Records, and I was actually a young victim of Sean Combs, and he SA'd me. She said that Diddy was the one that forced her to lie and say that Derek Lee Cardello Smith SA'd her when he did not. And she said the Wayne County prosecutor's office who paid her to lie and paid her sister to lie also and say that Derek Lee Cardello Smith SA'd both of them. She alleges that she was paid directly by Diddy in 2007 to bring on SA charges against Derek Lee Cardello Smith. She is alleging that the purpose for bringing on these false charges against Derek Lee Cardello Smith is because Diddy, Dave Cobb, Kyle Worthy, and other people wanted Derek Lee Cardello Smith out of the way because he refused to off somebody for David Cobb. Then it gets even crazier because he also has an affidavit from the prosecutor, Suzette Samuels. She says, my name is Suzette Samuels. I am a lawyer and I am assistant prosecutor attorney for the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office in Detroit, Michigan. I prosecuted Mr. Derek Lee Cardello Smith in the criminal case of the people versus the state of Michigan. Worked directly for Kim Worthy, Wayne County prosecutor, and for Mr. Sean John Combs. The office of the Wayne County prosecutor has framed Mr. Derek Lee Cardello Smith for the crimes of the criminal SA conduct beginning in 1997 and in 2008 and then again in 2019 while he was incarcerated. The person who directed these prosecutions were and still are Mr. Sean John Combs and Kim Worthy, the current Wayne County prosecutor. Diddy and the prosecutor ordered the Detroit Police Department's 9th Circuit to arrest and frame Derek Lee Cardello Smith for multiple SAs that he did not commit. And she said that Diddy and the prosecutor directed her to use her powers at the office as assistant Wayne County prosecutor to falsely charge and convict Mr. Derek Lee Cardello Smith with 6 counts of criminal SA conduct. 2 counts of kidnapping, which I did out of fear for my life, and which I did because I was paid to do so.
That's crazy.
But then it gets even crazier because she said she's done this many other times, totaling 128 black male citizens of Detroit, Flint, and other counties in Michigan that were investors of Bad Boy Records prior to 1997. Honestly, this is the craziest case that I've ever heard, and Derek Lee Cardello Smith also added all of these documents to his lawsuit against Diddy as well. But if you guys want to know that everything this prosecutor also had to say, because it's still 2 more pages long, you guys can watch the whole video over on my YouTube channel at Kadisha Lynn. But this is absolutely wild. Y'all let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
I think he got a case. I think he got a case. Yeah, a strong one at that. Cause what? Now that Cassie did her big one, now more and more people are less afraid to come out because Diddy was a powerful man. And Diddy would tell you, say something, I end you. Life taken. But now people are willing to step forward now that they're seeing that Cassie might get some justice and Diddy might go to jail and that a lot of the truths is going to be revealed. Now people are stepping forward with their own ample, and I mean ample evidence against this man.
It's day 5 in the Diddy trial, and Dawn Richard is giving her testimony against Diddy. And this will be her full testimony that she is giving against Diddy. And before we get into Dawn Richard's testimony, I have to show you guys how you actually pronounce her name, because if I get one more comment talking about how I'm saying her name wrong when I'm actually saying it right, I might just flip out. So watch this.
Dawn Richard.
Yes, you are going to be. Oh my God. You are going to be the only one. I
I should bow down and kiss your feet. Oh, yes, that's my name. Yeah. I stopped correcting people because I felt like it was obvious, but they just never, they put an S, they find a son, and it becomes Richardson's.
The government starts out with your honor. The government calls Don Richard to the stand. Where are you from? New Orleans, Louisiana. From 2004 to 2011, who did you work for? Puff Sean Combs. Do you see him? Yes. Who's depicted in this photo? Cassie. In 2009, did you observe an incident between Puff and Cassie? Yes. She was attacked by Sean and kicked. Did you see more violence by him against Cassie? Often. The government then shows Don Richard a picture of Diddy Dirty Money. When were you a member of this group? 2009 to 2011. The incident in 2009 when Sean Combs beat Cassie, where was it? In Sean Combs' LA home. We were recording. What did he do? He was saying, "Where the F is my food?" He grabbed a black skillet with eggs and tried to hit her over the head. Cassie dropped to the ground. What did she do? She was in a fetal position. Then what? Sean Combs was kicking her in the head and the body and then dragged her up to the first floor. Glass was breaking and yelling. I was scared for her and for me too. Did you intervene? No. Did you call the police? No. The next day, what happened? He said it had been passionate and she was okay, and that it would be better if we didn't talk, that people could end up missing. How did you understand that? Death. Diddy's team then yells, objection. Then the judge calls a sidebar and ends her testimony for the day. But Don Richard will be back on Monday to give the rest of her full testimony against Diddy. Right before they brought Don Richard in, they actually had a Homeland Security agent testify against Diddy about when they came and arrested him to take him to jail. So let's go ahead and get into that. The government asked, when Sean Combs was arrested, where did you go? The Park Hyatt Hotel. Room 2115, where he was staying. They show a picture to the jury of his hotel suite. And what did you do? We assigned a letter to each room and began to search. What was your role? I took photographs of items and then signed them on the 6051 form. What was found in the closet? They then show a picture to the jury, and it was plastic bags full of Johnson & Johnson baby oil and Astroglide bottles. And you're telling me Diddy is still doing this, knowing that they have already raided his house, knowing that they are about to blow down on him? What was found in the bathroom? Several bottles of baby oil, and they show that picture to the jury. Now the bedroom. What was found in the Louis Vuitton bag? Medication in the name of Frank Black. That is the name that Cassie Ventura said Diddy used as an alias. And what was the medicine? Bags of pink powder found in the medicine bottles. And then they showed a picture to the jury of it being found and tested by Customs and Border Patrol. Reading from the slip where they tested it from, the pink powder was found to be K and MDMA in the bottle. And then they actually passed around the physical evidence to the jury. What was found in the black mini backpack? $9,000. Please take the cash out of the bag, and then the Homeland Security agent fans out the bills. Then the government says no further questions, and then Diddy's team starts a cross-examination, and they say, in the hotel room, did you see any bags and clothing indicating that a woman was staying there with him? Yes. And that's where they end the testimony of this Homeland Security agent. And honestly, I don't get Diddy's attorney's question on this, because if anything, I feel like it makes it look worse. Because you're saying you are finding substances that Cassie is alleging that he used, and you're also finding all of these bottles of baby oil in a hotel in New York. What's even crazier about this is Diddy's attorney said way back when that Diddy went to New York because he knew that they were about to raid him. So he was turning himself in. He wanted to be closer when they came after him. But yet he has all of these illegal substances, the baby oil and everything, and he knew he was about to get arrested? That's wild. I can't wait for the rest of Don Richard's testimony, but y'all let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
I read somewhere that when those incidents happened and Don Richard witnessed Diddy beating on Cassie, that Diddy confronted her and said, if you say anything, people go missing, basically. With everything that's unfolding in regards to the Diddy case, I can't help but to think about the Epstein case, right? And if he was still alive, would we be receiving this same sort of evidence in regards to what he did? I feel like even though he's not here, allegedly, because there's people that still believe that he's still alive, even though he's not here, we should still be getting some sort of evidence. There should still be trials. There should still be witnesses at the witness stand. There should still be all this information to come out that exposes what it is that he did, because allegedly they got plenty of proof. They done raided his island. They done raided his homes. They got all the stuff that they need to be able to bring a case forward for the American citizens. But why aren't they? What names were on that Epstein Island list and so on and so forth that they're keeping from us? It might be so deep, just like with the story that this young lady was telling with the judges and lawyers and police officers that were hired by Diddy. Who did Epstein have on his payroll? Hell, he could have had politicians, presidents, kings. Ain't no telling how deep that goes. Y'all, I'm gonna make another video like this soon because there's more. There's so much more. Just be on the lookout for that. Anyway, leave your thoughts, comments, and opinions down below, and I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. See you.